Alright, so Pickle, you coming? He's not coming. So before I begin today's video talking about how you guys ruin smartphone innovation, I do want to put this little charger right here on the wall right there. I think that'd be nice because I switched back to my A+. So let's do that like right now. So basically, this is what I mean by smartphone innovation is dead. Hardware-wise, they're all the same. Before me, you see here different generations of Apple smartphones, and technically this is an iPod, but it's essentially the same thing, same rounded back and everything. Throughout the years, iPhones maintained a very similar design with the iconic home button right here at the bottom, with the camera up top in the forehead, with the earpiece in the forehead as well. And it was a basic same design. You can look at the 5S or SE or whatever, and then you can look at the 8, and you can see that they are the same phone, just bigger. But it's iconic. The first iPhone looks very similar to this iPod. It's got the rounded back, the silver on the back. It's got the iconic home button right there. And these were all very iconic looking phones. And the biggest developments that we saw were on the software side, and they were also on the hardware side as well. Adding a front-facing camera to one of the original iPhones, huge step up. Adding a camera to a phone was a huge step up that was actually usable. Huge steps up. But because you all wanted no bezel, every phone looks the exact same, and every phone essentially operates the exact same. The CPUs on low-end budget phones are getting so good, it's pretty indistinguishable between telling the difference between a cheap smartphone and an expensive smartphone, because they all look the exact same. You know, I have to go on a run right now. Why don't I just explain a little bit more on the run? I think I got a good analogy for you guys. We're like halfway through, and we're almost there. So hold on one second. I got this beautiful place for this analogy. All right, we're here. Now let me explain. All right, so you can see right here, big, beautiful rock. Right here, another huge rock. Big, beautiful, totally distinguishable from the other rocks. You can see there's just like a massive pile of these totally different looking rocks. Like these rocks are just different. But then you start to get into the smaller rocks, and they start to look a little bit more similar. You know, these two rocks, different rocks, same similar color, similar size, similar shape. Pretty much the same rock. And then you get smaller. That's what you guys wanted. You wanted smaller, you wanted thinner, you wanted lighter, you wanted a bigger screen to body ratio. So that's what they gave you. They went from these big, beautiful, massive rocks, phones, to these smaller and less distinguishable, but still distinguishable, like these two rocks right here. These aren't the same rocks. You can tell that. They're very similar though, right? But then you wanted even smaller, so that's what they gave you. And now we're looking at pebbles, and we're like, okay, these pebbles right here are essentially the same. They're so tiny and they're indistinguishable from each other. But you wanted smaller, and you wanted even bit better, and you wanted even smaller. So what they gave you is sand. So that's what we're dealing with now. We're just dealing with all these phones are essentially just sand. Sand is a bunch of tiny little rocks that are just indistinguishable. You can't tell who they are. In the beginning, there were not a lot of phone manufacturers, and they were making these big, massive phones, big, massive rocks, whatever. Not big and massive, but you understand what I'm saying. And then more manufacturers got into play. So we got less distinguishable, smaller phones, and then every single year it became more and more indistinguishable. And now every phone looks the exact same. Anywhere from iPhones to Samsung phones to Huawei phones, it doesn't matter. They're all the same phone. They're all the same thing. They're all sand. They all look They're all the exact same, and there are thousands of them now instead of just a few distinguishable ones at the beginning. But this is exactly what you wanted. Tech reviewers said this all along.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to complain about with these new phones, except the fact that the design is so brutally outdated for 2017 in this price point. In fact, I saved all my complaints here for the end of the video.
So, Marquez, obviously, much respect to him. I agree with what he's saying, but that's by nature the problem of what we're dealing with here. His biggest complaint about the iPhone 8, this is 2017, was the bezels. That was the biggest complaint. It was an old design, had the old outdated bezels, yada, yada, yada. Great phone, great processor, etc., etc. But when you held this phone, it feels different. It feels, when I'm using this compared to my OnePlus 6, it feels like a better phone. And it's not necessarily a better phone. They're essentially like the exact same, but it's distinguishable. It feels there's more to this phone. I know that the design might not be the best, but an all-screen design isn't fun. It doesn't look good in my opinion. It's so overplayed. How can you distinguish your phone from another phone if the design is the exact same? All screen, no bezel. And it looks great and it's cool, yada yada yada. But how can you distinguish your phone? It's no fun. Like, phones aren't fun anymore. Innovation isn't fun anymore. Reviewing, I used to watch like every phone review, and now I could care less because it's the same thing wrapped in a different wrapper, and the wrapper is the exact same from the same manufacturer. Like, they're all using Samsung screens and they all look the exact same, no bezel. That's the inherent problem, but that's sort of what you guys wanted. You didn't like the outdated look of the iPhone 8. You didn't like the outdated look of the iPhone 7. You wanted less bezel on the Samsung S6. This is exactly what you wanted, but that's not what I think was best. It's great, and it's great that cheaper phones are looking like more expensive phones, but I never bought a phone because I wanted the iPhone. I wanted people to know that, yeah, this is the one with glass. Yeah, this is the newest one. Yep, I have more money. Yep, I have more money than you. That's never why I bought phones. I bought phones because they looked cool. I always loved the design of the iPhone, even from the beginning when they first came out. That home button, the curved back. It was a different type of phone. It was a different type of era. And now the era is everything is a rectangle, an 18:9 with no bezel. And that's what it is. But that's what you wanted. So I hope you're happy with it. That's what you wanted these manufacturers to push because that's what you were buying. I personally don't love it, but if that's what the market dictates, that's what the market dictates. So thank you guys for watching the video. If you want to help keep this channel sponsorship free, please check out the Patreon link down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.